Lena stood outside the Grand Theater, the hum of the bustling city streets fading into the background as she adjusted her old, worn-out backpack. She couldn't help but feel the weight of the world pressing on her shoulders, knowing that inside, everything was so much bigger than her. Her shoes were scuffed, the hems of her dress frayed, but there was a fire in her eyes. She had been practicing for months, rehearsing in the small apartment she shared with her younger siblings. This talent show could be her big break. Inside the theater, the grandeur of the event overwhelmed her. The velvet seats, the polished wood of the stage, the shining gold accents. It all felt so foreign. Lena took a deep breath, reminding herself she had a purpose here. The other contestants looked so polished. Some wore sparkly outfits, others had fresh, perfectly styled hair. They looked like they belonged. But Lena? She felt out of place. Lena took her place in the waiting area, watching as others performed their routines. Some sang, some danced, and some did tricks. She was surrounded by talent, real talent, polished and professional. Finally, her turn came. As she walked to the stage, she felt every eye on her, and it made her knees shake. She heard the whispers from the audience. "She's the poor girl, isn't she?" The judges barely glanced up as she stepped onto the stage. They didn't expect much from a girl like her. Everyone could tell she wasn't one of the privileged ones. The judges barely glanced up as she stepped onto the stage. They didn't expect much from a girl like her. Everyone could tell she wasn't one of the privileged ones. Her voice, though quiet at first, grew stronger with every note. It was raw, pure, and full of emotion. A sound that came from a place deep inside her, a place that no one could see. The judges exchanged glances, but it wasn't until she hit the high notes that their expressions changed. They were no longer indifferent. They were surprised, intrigued. As she reached the final note, Lena felt her heart race. She had done it. She had poured everything into that performance, every ounce of her soul. When the music stopped, the room was silent. Then, a single clap echoed through the space, followed by another. Soon, the applause grew, and Lena blinked in disbelief. The judges stood, their faces a mix of astonishment and respect. The cold indifference was gone, replaced with a new kind of acknowledgement. But not everyone was impressed. As the applause continued, Lena overheard a few whispers from the audience. "She's just the poor girl. What does she have to offer?" At that moment, doubt crept in. Was she just the poor girl to them? Was that all she'd ever be? But then, she saw it. A single tear rolling down the cheek of a woman in the front row, her hands still clapping. That woman understood. But then, she saw it. A single tear rolling down the cheek of a woman in the front row, her hands still clapping. That woman understood. The judges met in a huddle, whispering among themselves. The head judge, a middle-aged man with glasses, looked back at Lena. "She has something special," the judge said, his voice firm. "She deserves to be in the final round." As the announcement came, Lena's heart skipped a beat. "Lena, you're through to the next round!" The crowd erupted into applause again, louder this time, as Lena smiled. She had done it. She had proven that being the poor girl wasn't her definition. As she walked backstage, Lena was met with congratulations from some of the contestants. One by one, they acknowledged her talent, telling her how incredible she was. But it wasn't the praise from them that mattered. It was the validation she had given herself. She had taken her voice, her heart, and stood up against all the odds. By the end of the evening, Lena knew something had shifted. She wasn't just the poor girl. She was a person who could shine, who had a voice that demanded to be heard. And as she passed through the exit, she overheard a final whisper from the audience. But this time, it wasn't about her being poor. It was about her talent.